All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. We're here with the big one. It's Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. We're finally at the big one. It's going to be weird doing Ant-Man and the Wasp after this. You know what I mean? Like you cover the event, which is arguably the biggest event movie of all time. And then right after, like, this is where it should stop. Then you get Ant-Man and the Wasp after this. And, you know, and yeah, Captain Marvel, but I almost feel like Ant-Man and the Wasp should have began phase 4. Well, see, when they want to close it out, I don't know. It's just maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp should have came out before this. I don't know. And then they could have just lost the ending. Whatever. It is what it is, right? But this is the big one. This is my favorite of all the movies. I mean, because it's the event. Like, single movies, Winter Soldier, Civil Wars are still like the top two. But this is the culmination of everything that I've ever wanted to see in a comic book movie. And it's been a long time. You know, it's been a long time. It took, it took like 20 years practically to get to, like, we had little bits of this. Nerds like me had little bits like the 1989 Batman, and then we had X-Men, the first couple of X-Men, and then we had Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Like, we were, and Blade was all right, you know. Blade was pretty good, actually. But we didn't have anything. We had to, like, all these things were kind of stretched out or done wrong, you know, or got worse over time. And it's finally here. 2018 comes, and Infinity War gives me everything that I ever wanted. And in a way, I'm mad that I have to share it with other people. Like, part of my, you know, brain goes, all the people that called me a nerd, called all of us nerds, thought we were all being kids and stupid and all that stuff, and this is, you know, dumb. All this comic book stuff is dumb, and now the whole world is in love with it. And part of me is mad. Part of me does have that little inside me of just, yeah, you fucking assholes. You finally understand what we've been talking about all these years. And so that's the part of me that I have to try to embrace, is the part of me that goes, well, at least now they finally get it. You know, so I'm trying to be positive about this, because this is like, Avengers Endgame is going to be like the biggest, that, you know, like, these two movies are going to be the two biggest event movies of all time. And it's just freaking amazing how far we've come and what they're going to do next and everything. And, you know, when they get that Disney streaming service, they are going to fucking break the internet. Like, on the first day, people getting to log in, that they better have like the best servers, because that thing is going to go. Because now with the announcements of, you know, Bucky and Winter Soldier shows, and Loki shows, and, you know, Scarlet Witch and Vision shows, and, you know, on top of everything else that's coming out, like The Mandalorian, dude, it's gonna break the internet. And I'm wondering if those shows, well, you know, I guess they have to be after this, so I don't know. It's really making me more and more curious about Avengers Infinity War. So yeah, full spoilers if you haven't seen this little tiny movie that came out last year. I reviewed it before on my channel. It was one of the first reviews that I did when I came back with, you know, a better audio and a different space. Same video though, and same me. Well, no, I don't know about that, but. So you can watch that initial one. That's the, you know, reaction review. Now that I've finally been able to, like, watch this enough times and rewatching it now, it's still amazing. You know, some of the writing and stuff is whatever, and certain things, there's, you know, plot holes. If you want to make a big deal out of it, yeah, go ahead. We could pick this movie apart just like everything, and then ruin it for ourselves. But I'm gonna try not to talk about that too much. But right from the get-go, I love that we get the immediate follow-up to what happened at the end of Thor Ragnarok. We lose Loki and Heimdall here. Tom Hiddleston, they kind of telegraphed what was going to happen to him because it felt phony when he was like pledging his allegiance. Like it was so obvious that he was going to betray Thanos immediately. It still is crazy and cool, that this is how Loki goes out. But he did say the sun will shine on us again, brother. So, you never know who knows what. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these speculations that have been going on ever since this movie first dropped. And I've tried to stay out of it, but now that, like, maybe Loki knows more than he says. You know what I mean? But I think that's just, like, hopeful thinking or, just, flights of fancy, just try to get yourself going by. Because the more and more I've, Tom Hiddleston's played Loki, I'm convinced that he's a hero, really. He's done some bad things. He's done some really bad things. But in the end, I think he just always wants to be a part of something, in his own way. But he's got too much of that God mentality that everybody's kind of like ants. So let's just get to the trailer then. Might as well play it, because this trailer was sick as well. Hulk... Like, I still said, like in my Thor Ragnarok review, I'm wondering if the dog, the big giant wolf that bit him in Ragnarok didn't have something to do with how he was able to go down so easy and why he isn't coming out. They'll probably have something else and a better way of explaining it, but that's just my first initial thoughts, was maybe that had something to do with it, not just some sort of Banner brain fart, a gamma-powered brain fart, no less. But then we get everybody starts to come together here. Doctor Strange, who I love in this movie so much, he's so great. I mean, I love Tony too. I've come back around to now to loving Iron Man again, but I do like that Stephen Strange gets to call Tony a douchebag. I'm sorry. I mean, but they're both kind of douchebags. But I love them so much. The Ben and Jerry's, it's a bit chalky. But Tony and Banner and everybody are getting together. I love the way the ship looks in the city. Like, people have tried to do alien invasions and what they would look like in reality and stuff. And this one, man, the way that ship just really felt like it was there. They really put you in that place, like if you just turned a corner and that was just in your face. I love it. The whole action sequence, and when we bring in Spider-Man, which, I love this because when the hairs go up, we finally get confirmation that his Spidey sense is a thing. Because it didn't really play a part in Spider-Man Homecoming or Civil War, so that's cool to see. This whole sequence is great, and Banner not being able to do it. You're embarrassing me in front of the wizards. But I love the way that you could figure out ways around this, but they were driving the story a certain way, and them separating, having Tony and Spidey and Doctor Strange, in one place, and then everybody else on Earth still keeping Tony and Cap apart, kind of a big deal if you really think about it, because they haven't officially made up. And I love the flip phone. This is as far as Cap has advanced, since he's been back, his flip phones. And you know what? That's fine. You know what I mean? For some people, that's all they need, man. And, so. Anyway, the new Spidey suit. That's the only suit I use in the Spider-Man game that came out. I just can't help it. I've tried the other suits just for a second, but, they don't really, I don't know, there's just something about being able to pop out all those arms and shit that's just really, really fucking rad. And we got Vision and Scarlet Witch, which must have been nice for Paul Bettany to be able to, for one scene, look like himself. I still think, this whole thing's weird. I just think that banging a robot's weird. I know he's more than that, okay? Before anybody jumps down my throat. I know he's more than that. But it's just I don't know. It's weird. Because he may look like a guy, but he's made of parts. And I know that some people will go, Vision's more of a human than most of us. And that may be true. His character is very human. It's just still weird. I also love the Black Order in this. I feel like they were wasted. I feel like they should have given them I mean, they are Thanos' guys, though. So it's like, even though they're really, like, if you read any of their stuff, which I should be able to find here. Yeah, I've been reading, there was like a 5-issue mini-series for the Black Order. There's a couple of them. They were really interesting. It really fleshed out their characters, and they're in their own way, they're kind of own fucked up Guardians of the Galaxy. They actually, they're very gruff and have like, they're villains, but they have their own kind of family way about them, and it's really interesting. And so the way that they are portrayed here, I just didn't get enough of them. And Carrie Coon as Proxima, I love Carrie Coon. Like, I love Carrie Coon. I bought a Leftover Season 3 t-shirt I love the show, but I've been trying to find a Carrie Coon something, because I have a big old man crush. I have a big old crush on Carrie Coon. And so maybe I'd like to see her come back in something that doesn't have to be mocapped, like Betty Banner or something better than that. Something better than that. But there's not a lot of... If anybody can think of who Carrie Coon could play in the MCU, that'd be great. Speaking of the MCU in general, with all these movies that are out, like especially this event kind of movie, why is Marvel and Disney not making an animated MCU? Like, why are they letting DC take all the animation away? Like, you'd think that would be printing money for them, right? This is free money. If you take all the stories that you couldn't do for the movies and put them in like a CG cartoon, oh my God, the sky is the limit. There are so many stories to tell. I feel like they're not even really like... maybe that's the plan in the near future, is like once we've got these movies, we can just animate them from then on. And then we can use voices and save on actors. I don't know, but they're really missing out. They are really missing out with all the different characters and all the crazy storylines. Like Planet Hulk, they did. Do World War fucking Hulk, man. Holy shit. Now that you've got everybody back in the house except for a couple of people, you could put everyone in there and make World War Hulk like insane. But anyway, back to this movie. So they attack Vision and Scarlet Witch, and Cap. This is when Cap and Black Widow and Falcon show up, and I love it. I still get the chills whenever Cap shows up in this movie. This movie has like the chill factor on here that I talked about in Captain Marvel, where this whole thing was like up and down with goosebumps the whole way through. And I've seen this movie a ton of times already now. But I love it. You always wonder, like, why don't they just kill these guys? But I don't know. They have them right there. Like, if you're gonna let them go, I don't know. It's the story. It's not perfect. But I'm trying to think of it. I think of it too much of a movie. I need to think of it more like, this is a comic book movie. It needs to go a certain way. Stop getting in the movie's way from being good, Rob. They stop them, and then we get the Guardians of the Galaxy enter the movie. And again, I really harped on Peter Quill the first time I saw this movie, and I really blamed him for like messing things up. But I mean, the story was written. It's not the actor's fault or the character's fault. It's the script's fault. But also, he's not the only one who didn't sacrifice anybody, who wasn't willing to trade lives, like Cap says. Like, this is our big mistake in this movie, is the only one, at first glance to me, the only one who ever sacrificed anything in this movie was Thanos. So we actually did lose something, but everybody else kept, being like, we'll find a way, and we'll find a way. And this is that movie. This is we lose. We keep thinking we're going to win. They do this to us throughout the entire movie, which is, like, oh my God, like, that no matter what they do, they're not going to win. I'm sure there are people in the audience that really thought that when this movie ended, they were like, what? We didn't win? Because, not everybody's just like follows this stuff and reads this stuff and is, like that invested to think that they won't come out on top. Like these are the people that probably hated Walking Dead season 7 and 8. Our hero is lost. Fuck this show. But, it's that way, man. It's just, So it's like, Avengers, everything is futile. That could have been the title of this movie, but it's the journey. You have to fall to get back up. And I don't know, but they get to the Guardians of the Galaxy. I was blaming Peter Quill, and actually, Doctor Strange, if you think about it, was the exception. He sacrificed everyone by what he knew, what he saw in that one time. I almost had an idea that maybe the others were in on it, but then when Tony turns to him and he's like, why'd you do that? And he said it was like, I had to. Like, this was the only way. So Doctor Strange knows that they had to lose to eventually win, to beat him. And he's the linchpin. He's the one with all the info. And it's, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. So he did sacrifice something. So I was prematurely blaming Peter Quill. So I take it back. He did what everybody else did in this movie. And except I do have the complaint that, I think Lindsay Ellis once said, if you've ever seen her videos, Peter Quill hasn't grown up. He's just perpetually a kid. And while that may not be his fault, the way he was raised, that he's just kind of a perpetual teenager, I do kind of blame him for that. He should have shown some growth by now in all the different things he's been in, his 2 movies and this one. I would have thought that they'd give him something. But I mean, if you really think about it, none of the characters have really changed at the core, their core beliefs. They've had things happen to them that make them harder or softer or whatever, however you want to put it. But StarLord still, he's just StarLord. Everybody in that group is basically the same person. So I guess you can't blame him. I don't want to just single him out, but because of what he does in this, it was really easy to single him out. Just because when you saw the glove coming off, like Spidey had the glove, he's the face of the defeat. You know what I mean? He's the one you want to blame, or at least I did. But that whole sequence was fucking amazing, though. I mean, this was the CGI disaster movie festival of all time. And it was a fun blast to watch completely from beginning to end. The stuff with Thor and Peter Dinklage out in space, I don't know what they were expecting. I don't know. I felt like Peter Dinklage, they didn't write his character very well, or however the direction was for this character. He just seemed kind of, yes, Thor, that's what I mean. You will die. That's what that means. They didn't give him any kind of personality, really. He was just that one. You were supposed to protect us. I'm a dwarf. Like, paycheck much. I love Dinklage, but I mean, it may not be his fault. Like I said, the script or whatever, they could have given him something to be more, I don't know, just kind of slightly sarcastic, like a giant Tyrion. And at least he didn't have to shave the beard off, or anything. But Thor in this is great. Rocket and Thor are great in this. Groot is hilarious in this. This is our introduction to teenage Groot. I mean, we did get the little ending at Guardians 2, but seeing teenage Groot is great. A lot of people can understand Groot now. The whole Drax and the invisible thing is also hilarious. So, I mean, they give everybody, it's almost like they just took everybody's ideas from all the movies and said, well, that's the Taika Waititi Thor, that's the James Gunn's Guardians, that's the Russo brothers Captain America, you know what I mean? Like, they just that's the Jon Favreau Iron Man, we'll put that in here, we took all those people and said, this is how we write this movie, we take their characters and we put them in a pot, and everybody was represented really well. I would have liked some more of Captain Widow, holy jeez. Captain America and Black Widow. But, I mean, the movie it's already jam-packed as it is. I like that we get to see Wakanda a little bit better here. I mean, even, they still haven't explored it enough to me to satisfy me, but I do like that it takes place in Wakanda. I do like that we get Black Panther in this movie. I like that we get a kick-ass, his general, played by Danai Gurira from, I always butcher that name, as Michonne from The Walking Dead. It's so cool to see her do this and how big she's going to be. Think about it, man. She is important to Endgame. They forgot to put her on the fucking poster, and now she's there, and that's awesome. I mean, Michonne is on an Avengers poster. Man, that's cool. We live in such a cool time. I love this so much. And it's only, let's see, I see Avengers Endgame Friday at 2 p.m. at the IMAX 3D. Thor, though, showing up in this movie was great. It just, all these things, like, I kept in the theater thinking, oh my God, this is so great, this is so great. And it had that itch, though, in the back of my head going, you know what's going to happen, though. Like, there were the devil and the angel on my shoulder, like, the angel's like, yay! And the devil's like, dude, man, remember, keep it in perspective. We're all going to die. So all the enjoyment there, I was still going like, this is so great. It's pointless, but it's great. And yeah, then eventually, Thanos shows up. He gets what he wants. He snaps, Red Skull's there when he gets the soul gem, which was cool. But it did feel like a bit of fan service. But I would like to believe that they knew this was going to happen like a long time ago, that the plan for Red Skull. I believe that. So, and as far as like, it is fan service. It really is. It's for the people who, paid attention and watched all the movies. But I didn't expect it. I mean, I figured if anybody was going to come back, he would be a main contender. I just didn't expect him to come back in the way that he did. Thanos sacrificing Gamora. I mean, again, you knew it was going to happen. There was no escape for her. Just all like, again, it's futile, the movie. It's just done really, really well. Josh Brolin, too, man. I mean, every time I watch this, Thanos is a fully realized character. And it's one of the best mocaps I've ever seen. Because I look at Thanos and I say, that's fucking Thanos. That is a Thanos face that I recognize from the comics. And then I go, and it's also Josh Brolin. And I can see him in it, too. It's fucking amazing. And everything, all the CG in this is just so gosh darn good. Like, I know it's run great big, like, video game cutscene mixed with real actors, but geez Louise, man, have they just gotten good at it. And can you imagine if this movie gave, like, some of its money to Black Panther to make that movie look, the way that it should have looked? I mean, I bet you Black Panther looks really good for the sequel, I'll tell you that right now. They better let it look better, but that's a different movie, so... and the fight where they almost get him it's all just so well done. And again, Doctor Strange being the linchpin and loving it and letting himself die, knowing that it's not over. Tony doesn't understand that yet, but him and Nebula living is great. Is cool. They're doing it right. Nebula was at the near the end of Infinity Gauntlet. The comic, she played a major role, and spoilers for the comic, she ended up getting the gauntlet. And it became everybody against her. Which I don't know if they're going to do here because I don't see what the point is. All she wants to do is kill Thanos, so I don't know if they're going to go that big. But anyway, Thanos comes to Earth, kills everybody, wipes everybody down, and then, does the snap. And everybody's gone. And one thing before we go is... I forgot the Vision didn't fade away. So what happens if they get him working again in Endgame? That would be really, really cool. I know I've got to wrap this up because I don't know when my thing's about to run out of time. But so that's it. It's great. Avengers Endgame coming this Friday. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel still before we get to that. So if you liked this review, which I'm sorry I'm cutting this short, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. Otherwise, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying we'll be back with Ant-Man and the Wasp and Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2, live streams happening before, probably, maybe, before the show, and definitely after. And then there will be a solid review for Episode 2 done as well. So have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Bye.